Hey, I'm Sarah Gonzalez. Welcome to the news and why it matters. We are joined by special guest Graham Allen with CRT.
Hey,
Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Really quickly, before we get into the conversation, tell people where they can find you.
So my name is Graham Allen, and I host a show on CRTV called Rant Nation. So you can find me there.
You are funny.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one of the nicer things people say.
I bet.
Normally it's I hope you die or something.
We get some of those too.
Yeah.
Glenn, top story.
Top story is Kavanaugh, and the way that the Republicans have played this. It's already starting to show in the polls, and it's going to show in the election. And I think it's the first time, I think, in my lifetime that this is almost a perfect way to handle something like this. Republicans never do it right.
Yeah. Still.
One of Glenn's most famous comments, I would say, is incorrect.
Run for your life?
We can now prove for it. No, you famously called President Obama a racist, and that was wrong. We learned today that he's a racist against black people and white people. He actually doesn't like either one, and we'll show you the evidence.
This is
there.
amazing.
Oh,
it's
good.
amazing.
Graham.
I think it's the same thing that Glenn said. You know, the Kavanaugh thing. We have the FBI. It seems like 1/1,000,000th investigation at this point, and the fact that it was never about finding the truth. I don't believe the Democrats ever really cared if anything happened to Dr. Ford at all. It's all been a political ploy or a chess game to delay for their undermining agenda.
I don't know if you saw CNN last night, but I'm sorry. I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah. I missed that one.
Okay, but before we get into that, I want to make sure to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. I had no idea before I started working here that every month I was paying my phone bill, and the amount of money that I was paying, which is, it's not cheap, was going, some of that money was going to support liberal causes. Yeah, Planned Parenthood, all of the causes that I do not donate my money to them willingly. So now we have Patriot Mobile. I know you use Patriot Mobile also still.
Yeah, I mean, and the first thing you want to get over that hump of is it good service? Well, you get the good service, you get the good prices, you get all the things you need from your cell phone company.
These days.
Yeah, it is. It's right. It's actually riding on the back of one of the others, but it's not putting the money that you're putting into the hands of, places like Planned Parenthood.
Right. And not only is it not putting the money into the hands of Planned Parenthood, but it's putting money in the hands of places that you would support, Second Amendment organizations.
And you choose.
Right. Conservative causes. You're interested, aren't you?
It sounds like I need to switch cell phone carriers
like,
to be American again.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it crazy? You work all day to make money so you can afford things, and you're fighting against...
It goes to the very places that you don't want it to go to.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
So you can go to patriotmobile.com/news. Are you listening? Okay, right now, for $4 a month, it's starting at, you can get select Android and iPhones. So patriotmobile.com/news or 800-A-PATRIOT.
Okay.
All right, into the latest and greatest with Kavanaugh.
Are we going to be done with this next week?
I don't think so.
Have that first vote
I hope we do, but
I hope so.
I think by Monday we should have a wrap-up show, and then we'll forget it's ever even a story.
Mm-hmm.
No, but because I think there will be protests and riots. And
I don't know. I think I will say this: the left will make sure that they forget about Ford. They will never think.
That's the one we'll never hear about again. Yeah, exactly right.
So my thought on this is, assuming that it goes through and he gets it, and this is how important it is for him to win this nomination at this point. The only thing the left will hear on Saturday at the vote is, well, that worked, or crap, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if it's that worked, this is the MO from here on out. If it didn't work, they may try harder, but they're less likely to do these things in the past. If they are rewarded for this kind of behavior,
the left,
the country's in trouble. Yeah, the country's in real trouble. Now, I just want to highlight something, because this is what my book is all about, and I wish I would have had this example, because there wasn't an example when I wrote the book. And people say, Glenn, you're talking addicted outrage. You got to get rid of your addiction. You got to be nice to each other. You're going to surrender. No. It's about standing in the truth, but changing the way you deliver it. I've learned doing all the crazy things, in Lederhosen and everything else I did on Fox, I didn't change any minds. I may have enlightened people and helped teach things to my tribe, but nobody who was a diehard Obama went, oh, that guy who's funny and making fun of everybody, he's great. Didn't work, okay? So the Republicans have done it exactly as we lay it out in the book. What'd they do? They were attacked. They were relentlessly attacked. They were called all kinds of names. They didn't call names in reverse. They never shamed her. They never called her nasty names. They said, oh my gosh, if this is true, we should listen to her. We'll go out and meet her. What did the Democrats do? They undermined everything, and it's all being exposed. It wouldn't have been exposed if Donald Trump would have been tweeting nasty things all the time, because all everybody would have been talking about was him or the nasty things. So they played it perfectly. They were deferential, where the Democrats treated Kavanaugh like crap, and they were rolling their eyes and sarcastic.
Brought in that prosecutor who was an Obama administration official.
Right.
That was smart.
So, and they all said, and I believe them, if this evidence is true, we want to know it.
Yes.
Okay? The Democrats, they're asking for the 7th FBI. They get it. And somebody asked on television, one of the Democrats, so will this be enough? For what? For you not to vote for him?
Right.
Because you were never going to change your mind anyway.
Exactly.
Because we handled this the right way, because we changed our approach with having a spine and standing straight up where we were, not being afraid, looking it in the eye and go, no, I'm sorry, that's not it. And moving forward, you're seeing a shift in people. You're seeing a shift in people who were against Kavanaugh now going, you know what, not only am I for Kavanaugh, I don't like the way the Democrats have behaved. Yeah. That's the way to win.
I mean, look, it's not hard in this environment to get Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski on your side. I mean, it feels like, I honestly thought walking into this, when this stuff started happening, it was almost like all you have to do is show up and they're going to wind up voting with you. Yeah. Instead, their nuclear level hackery was the Cory Booker strain of the Democratic Party, who's that's just insanity. They went so over the top, so far, were so ridiculous. Even Chris Coons, who was the guy who made the deal with Flake for the 1 week extra FBI investigation, is on TV today saying it's not enough. Yeah. It was his deal, and he's saying it's not enough. Right. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And they went, I think if they would have been under control, they probably would have been able to stop this. Won. People, the environment of today is, people are generally going to go that way. I think because they were so ridiculous, such cartoon characters, they talked a lot of Americans out of it, and it becomes a thing, even with Collins and Murkowski. You can't reward that level of idiocy.
And the thing is, they have proven Donald Trump right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he was quiet. And he's been saying, they are the enemy. They are not telling you the truth. Yeah. Yeah. They are all in on it. Look at the way the media has behaved. And because they haven't had him to chew on, because he's been relatively quiet, he's allowed them to expose themselves and become everything he says they are.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely. And you. Republicans handled this the right way.
Yeah.
But this is the problem that has bothered me through the entire thing. And I think that Kavanaugh actually said something very prophetic in his testimony that I don't even think he knew that he was saying it. He said that the repercussions of all this will be felt for decades. And the thing that worries me the most about my children and the future generations is all of this circus is what it is going to hinder good men and women for wanting to step forward, put themselves in the position to help society and to help our government, help America. Who would willingly make the choice to subject your family to this kind of defamation and everything.
You know, Stu, I have talked about running for office at some point, maybe after I retire or something, I'd run for office. Then I was with Ted Cruz. What did I say? Halfway through the Ted Cruz run.
Oh,
never.
It's terrible.
Never would I do that. I won't run for dog catcher. Never.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's character assassination.
It is. That's all it is.
And we've lost the ability of a society to respect people's lives to the point that we would much rather ruin somebody, whether truth or not, for our own political gain, our own political purposes. And it's a very dangerous line that we're sitting on right now as a society.
Graham, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Did you believe Dr. Ford's testimony?
I think that I say this as a man. You know, I want to believe Survivor. I know many people in the social media platform, the public platform, have said this. I want to believe victims or alleged victims. I want to believe that people would not do such a thing for political gain or for this chess match that's trying to be played. I think that there is obviously something happened to Dr. Ford that has affected her, you know, mentally, emotionally, and all this. Do I think that Kavanaugh did it? Absolutely not. I don't believe it at all.
Is that still your view, Glenn? I know Stu said he just doesn't believe any of it.
I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I really did. But I don't think I do anymore. There's nothing new that has come out. After that, there should have been something that has come out. There's nothing new that has come out
Kavanaugh
for
did
her.
Yeah,
but I don't even think, I'm not sure that she even had an event. I'm not sure.
So I was like you. I believed at the time that something happened to her that she really, truly thought in her mind she was misremembering that it was Kavanaugh. That's what I thought.
That still could be.
Well, that's what I thought before. But if I may bring some things to the table. So when she first stated in her testimony, she swore under oath, right? All of this was written out and sworn to. She said exactly what her motivations were. And I think we have a short clip. Let's watch.
My motivation in coming forward was to be helpful and to provide facts about how Mr. Kavanaugh's actions have damaged my life so that you could take into a serious consideration as you make your decision about how to proceed. It is not my responsibility to determine whether Mr. Kavanaugh deserves to sit on the Supreme Court. My responsibility is to tell you the truth.
So originally she said, I am here to provide facts for you. I want you to have all of the facts and all of the relevant information. It is my responsibility to tell you the truth, and then you're the ones who make the determination whether or not he belongs on the Supreme Court. Now, in contrast to that, her lawyers at the 11th hour of the FBI investigation, which again, it's at the 11th hour, they released, or they sent a letter to Chuck Grassley, and they basically were saying, we are withholding the documents that Chuck Grassley wanted sent to the FBI, which was video of the polygraph test and her therapist's notes that they claim exist but would never show.
Seen them, yeah.
Right, no one has seen them. So they said, well, sure, we'll hand over those documents when you agree to interview her. Now, they know that the FBI has already said that they were not going to interview Kavanaugh or Ford because they already have their sworn testimony to the account. So if you're saying she needs another interview, then you're saying she perjured herself. Because under oath, she already said exactly what happened, which, again, that's why the FBI doesn't need another interview for her. So now you have the lawyers saying, we're not going to give you these documents.
Which makes me question those documents and makes me question her.
Right.
It's why that's one of the reasons when I saw that come out, it's one of the reasons where something's really wrong. First of all, I'm willing to give her an Ambien or a Valium excuse for the disconnect with her emotions while she's still and I just want to tell you, it just doesn't seem real. And I think because she kept saying, I need caffeine, she wasn't sleeping. Perhaps she was on some sort of medication, and that does separate you from your feelings. But now with this and the way it's been handled, I just don't know. I wouldn't put $1 on it actually happened, even without Kavanaugh involved.
I have to say, I believed her initially, and I just don't anymore. I think that she's part of it.
Yeah, and to Graham's point, I mean, like, we all want to believe that people wouldn't do these sorts of things, but like, look at this case for a second. We're all talking about Ford, right? Yeah. Ford is a person who's involved in this. There are 5 accusers, 5. The other 4 have been basically debunked. One guy recanted completely himself. Yep. Another one didn't even put their name on it, and they were never even able to figure out who it was. Another one is Avenatti's client, which is obviously a circus.
Doesn't he have a new one now? Doesn't he have a new one, apparently?
Well, the latest, the one that was in the New Yorker that they went after with Ronan Farrow, they actually found the person who was supposed to be able to corroborate the evidence, and that person said they had never even heard of such a thing. Yeah. They've missed on 4 of the 5. 4 of the 5, by all expectations, and all at this point, what we can take from them. At least 4 of the 5 are complete nonsense.
Yeah. So I want to know why we as a nation are not furthering an investigation on those people.
Yeah.
If you lied and you have added to this circus, you are a danger to the republic, not just smearing a guy, but you have added to damning the republic. Yeah. I mean, I think you need to go to jail.
Yes,
yeah, it's the backwards logical thinking that seems to be this huge epidemic within our society. We claim that we care about certain things, and so therefore we put all this focus on Dr. Ford. Oh, we care about Me Too and victims and survivors and this and that. But then we find out about these actual things that were debunked completely, and complete lies, complete character assassination lies. And we do nothing about it. Oh, well, did you really expect anything else to happen? Of course.
We always brush those off.
Yeah, of course they're lies. Why wouldn't they lie? But we don't fight really for what's right anymore. What's right would be to go after justice for Kavanaugh, of these people that are blatantly lying about him.
And I think the one that says that he recanted his testimony may very well get in trouble. The problem with that, of course, is that it incentivizes people not to recant. Because you can never going to be able to prove these other things didn't happen. This guy, you can prove it because he told you.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean it.
Right. Back in a minute.
We'll have that.
This is such a circus. I can't wait for this thing to be over. Can't wait.
Stu, you said Obama is just a racist altogether, right?
So he's not just a racist; he's a double racist.
Okay, so we got a lot to get into there because that's a bombshell.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
a big bombshell.
It actually is.
No,
when you listen to it, it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, but first we want to thank our sponsor, Brickhouse. I have a confession to make. I did not take my Dawn to Dusk today.
We thought your performance was off during the show today. We noticed that.
I'm sorry. So I've just been dragging, and I forgot to take it. But they do have Dawn to Dusk, which is helpful in the sense that it gives you that extra boost of energy without the jitters that you get from, a cup of coffee, something like that.
Cocaine.
I mean, cocaine. It's a much better alternative to cocaine.
Right. Okay.
Great
Well,
point, Glenn.
cocaine also you lose weight. your nose bleeds a lot.
Legally, it's a much better alternative.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So you can couple the Dawn to Dusk instead of cocaine with Field of Greens, which may help you with the health portion.
I am pissed off at you beyond belief.
Why?
Why? Because somebody's wife watches the show.
And she's got you eating Field of Greens in a smoothie, right? Yes.
Shut up.
How can you hate that?
I know. I like Field of Greens because it gets me out of eating the vegetables.
I would have done it on myself. Now it's like, you're going to do it. No.
Now you're just trying to spite her? You're
Yes.
trying to ruin your house
I'm
to
going
spite her.
to die. I'll show her. I'll show you. I'm going to get scurvy.
So it's, of course, one scoop is a full serving of fruits and vegetables, and you can mix it into
really love our
a
stuff.
smoothie, you can mix it into milk, you can mix it into water, you can mix it into anything, and it's delicious.
Really
so
good.
go to BrickHouseBlaze.com, use promo code GREENS for 15% off your first order, or you can text GREENS to 41411. Again, take Field of Greens, not cocaine.
Yeah.
All right.
That's okay.
Can you guys stop
be
mentioning
clear.
cocaine and
To be
scurvy in our
clear.
spots? Is that possible?
We do not advocate cocaine use.
That's bad.
Barack Obama, is it
Yes.
time? This one's amazing. And in fact, we just let in with cocaine, which is an interesting segue into this particular segment.
May I say something about this?
You
before?
may, of course.
Stu found this morning. Now, this tape has been released. I was going down the road of Kavanaugh. Oh, look. Oh, really? Did they say he was, not capable of being president? We played it, and Stu went, no, here's the bigger story. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It's pretty actually an amazing clip because you're right. The way that people have been talking about it, and it is interesting in this context. Barack Obama did a lot of the things that they're going after Brett Kavanaugh for. Remember, this started with can we prove Brett Kavanaugh did this? And then it was like, well, what if we think he did it? And then it was like, well, we can't really prove that he did it or think that he did it, but is there a possibility that he did it? And then when they couldn't get that, they're like, well, what if he blacked out and doesn't remember it? Yeah. Is that possible? Right. That's really where we got down to.
Threw ice on people.
Yeah, he threw ice at people, right. So this is Barack Obama talking about very similar to the same types of accusations and many times worse that were made against Brett Kavanaugh. And if I think the initial point is, if Barack Obama could become president with this in his past, after he turned his life around, right? If Brett Kavanaugh, if he drank a lot when he was younger, I mean, why couldn't he be on the Supreme Court? So let's watch the clip, and we'll talk about the other part in a minute.
I think I was a thug for a big part of my growing up. I think I was a very typical gregarious, mischievous child as a young boy. I think by the time I was an adolescent and had moved back from Indonesia and was struggling with these issues of racial identity and a father not being in the house, and I think that I reacted by engaging in a lot of behavior that's not untypical of black males across the country.
Wait, what?
I played a lot of basketball.
Oh, okay.
I didn't take school that seriously.
Oh, okay.
I got into fights.
All right.
I drank and did and consumed substances that weren't always legal. Some of my behavior was self-destructive. I might drink a six-pack in an hour before going back to class.
No,
Holy cow.
I mean, when you think about it in the racial, the word typical is it's a trigger word for him, apparently. Remember, of course, a typical white person who, doesn't care, he clings to his God and his guns because he doesn't like immigrants and he's racist.
And his grandmother she was the typical white person that would see a black person. And
yeah, and he says here, I engaged in behavior typical of black people. He says they play basketball a lot. Now, if a white Republican was like, you know what black people do a lot is they play basketball. Just that is enough to be a racist if you happen to be a Republican. But then he goes down the road of don't take school seriously, get in fights a lot, and drinking and drugs. I mean, the picture he paints of the black community is one that Richard Spencer probably agrees with. That is an amazing moment as you see that, and I haven't heard anybody talking about that yet. But this guy really, when he talks about racial identity, it's really revealing. He looked at everything through a racial prism, which was the point you were making on Fox all those years ago, and you can see that there. He sees typical. People of colors have typical examples. Now, my impression of the way that you're supposed to think about race is in a colorblind way, content of character. You're not supposed. I don't generalize it. That white people generally do this and black people generally do that,
except for movie theaters.
Okay, that's a good place to break.
No, I mean, there's a lot of talking back to the screen. He's right behind you. So you all know that I'm a doctor, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, I am a doctor. So anyway, I've got my doctorate.
Basically the same thing.
In humanities. Anyway, so science is really big for me tomorrow on the radio show. Science. Stu is...
so excited.
Yeah, Stu, it's the Obama Power Hour, really. 6 beers in an hour.
Yes.
I don't believe he actually went to class. I don't think you can go to class.
We're going to figure this out? No. We're going to find this out?
We're going to find it out. A shot per minute on the hour tomorrow. And I think hour number 1. So don't eat anything spicy.
Show to do after that.
It's going to be count on me. Tomorrow's show's going to be great.
Overtime next.
I'll be in full.